Hey there folks, today I'm putting together a video for you to show you how to incorporate ceramic briquettes into your gas grill setup. Okay, I'm working with the Weber Genesis 2 grill, but this video will apply to many different models of grill. Before I show you how we're going to do this, I think I want to explain first the why. And I'm going to take away this grate and show you the guts of what's underneath. And what we have right here are flavorizer bars. That's what they're called, right? And they serve two purposes. One, they protect the gas element below from drippings falling into those holes where the gas comes out. But second, they become superheated. And so when you have drippings from your food or marinades, when those drippings hit this superheated flavorizer bar, they immediately become vaporized and turn to smoke and flavor. And that's how you get that great flavor out of grilled food. So really effective at doing that. Here's the thing. There are gaps, right? So drippings that hit this will become vaporized, but drippings that fall below will, well, fall below and begin to accumulate. And that's not the best thing. And also, you're missing opportunity for those drippings to become flavor for your food. So instead of doing flavorizer bars, we're trying to create a flavorizer level. And that's where these briquettes will come in handy. This will all become clear as you progress further into the video. So we're going to head down to the workshop and I'm going to show you the materials that we're going to be using here. And stay tuned. So this is the material of choice for this project. This is a stainless steel mesh. And we will be using this mesh to create a layer upon which the ceramic briquettes will rest upon, and it will all be placed just above the flavorizer bars and heating element. So I mentioned that this is stainless steel. It is also food safe, which is a really critical element in your material selection because you want to make sure that what you are using is not releasing any harmful chemicals that are finding their way into your food. So you may actually recognize this material if you watched my previous video about critter proofing your grill. So if you did that project and have some leftover materials, you can utilize them here as well, which is really handy. This, for shipping purposes, comes folded in half, and you can open it up and bend it and cut it and shape it however you like. So let's take this up to the grill, and we'll take a look at the shape that we need to create for this to work out. So here we have our material laid out. This, by the way, measures 12 inches by 24 inches. And you can see based on those measurements that I still have some additional pieces that I'll need to fit in place in order to have a full layer for the briquettes to sit upon. So we're going to be making a modification to this piece right here. The first one being we need a way for this side to be supported properly. And so I'm going to make a couple bends, and we're going to take this piece back down to the workshop to make that happen. Okay, so I have the mesh oriented just the way you saw it in the grill, and I'm using masking tape to mark my first bend line. So this is going to leave me with about a 3/4 inch tab here on the end, and that's the tab that I'm going to use to actually screw this mesh to the frame of the grill. Okay, and the way that we're going to be making this bend is we're going to use a scrap piece of wood. Anything with a 90-degree angle will do. And we're going to be lining it up right on that bend line. And I'm going to take these clamps that I have to secure this in place. And this is going to assist me to make sure that I get a good consistent bend all the way across. Okay, with this in place, we can now apply some pressure and create this bend. Now, when we take our clamps off, It should look something like this, which we'll then need to sort of clean up by hand. You can get in there and make it look a little bit tidier. And so it should look something like that. I've marked off a second bend line, which I will be bending in the opposite direction. And when it's done, it will look like this, right? So we have on the right side, this is the tab that's going to correspond with an angled portion inside the grill. And we're going to be using this tab to use mechanical fasteners to attach it to the grill. All right, so let's bring it up there and put it in place. Here's what it looks like when it's in place, and you can see now that that tab is corresponding to this angled portion right here, or approximately. And by the way, this does not have to be pretty. This is going to be not what people are looking at when you have the grates back on and you're cooking food. And of course, I'll take that masking tape off. One thing I want to point out is that there's this little jog right here that interferes from my ability to pull this snug. So I'm going to use some tin snips to cut a little notch out here so that that corner can be snugged in a little bit tighter. Okay, now to make this cut right here, we're going to be using this tool here. These are tin snips. Scissors will not do the job here, you guys. You need tin snips. All right, and we'll go something like this. Once again, doesn't have to be pretty. Right. So there you have it, just a little notch in the corner. All right, I'm gonna take this back upstairs again and take it to the grill. So with that notch knocked out, now everything snugs in nice and tight. See that? Okay, next up, we're going to be making a final bend on this piece, and it's going to follow roughly this line right here. So I'm just looking at the peak of the flavorizer bar, and I'm going to do about a 45-degree bend coming off of this point right here, right? And that's just going to give it a little bit more of a positive connection on this side so that it's anchored in some way, shape, or form. So here you can see that 45-degree bend that I created on the other side. Once again, let's take it back up to the grill. All right, so this first piece is done. Now we just need to secure it. So let me get this masking tape off and we'll tackle that next step. Okay, so there are two different types of fasteners that we could consider in this application. The one that I'm going to be using is this stainless steel self-drilling screw. Okay, so effectively the tip of this screw is a metal rated drill bit. So it saves you from having to pre-drill with a metal rated bit. So once you create the opening with that bit, the threads will then take over and sort of suck in tight, so it's nice and quick and easy. The only downside is that the bit will likely protrude out the other side, right? So if I'm attaching it to this point here, again, which is sort of angled a little bit, it's going to come through underneath. I'm okay with it sticking out underneath because there's nothing there. It just will not be visible, and therefore it's the quickest and easiest solution. Now your grill might look a little different than mine and may not have this angled attachment point. And if you have a situation where that drill bit would protrude out the other side and that would be problematic, you could pre-drill with a metal rated drill bit and just use a traditional stainless steel nut and bolt. So I'll put both of these products in the video description so that you guys can choose the fastener that makes the most sense for you. All right, I put a total of 3 screws in here, and I went ahead and made up the additional pieces. Same techniques that I already showed you. So that piece will go in like that. And then I made one here on the end. Again, same technique. This one is just going to fit in like so. And it's already supported here by the mesh, so I don't need to do any additional bend. If I really wanted to, I could wire this end piece to the other two pieces, but I just don't think that's necessary. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this all secured in place with some additional screws, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, with everything fastened, the next step is to install the briquettes. And the only instruction here is that you want to go just a single layer, and you want to space them a little bit in between, so maybe like about a 1/4 inch in between. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alrighty, I've got the grates reinstalled, and you can just make out that layer of ceramic briquettes underneath. By the way, some folks will use lava rocks for this same purpose. However, I think what you'll find if you do a little research is that the lava rocks that you can purchase come with a disclaimer that they can, in some situations when they're heated, explode. So this is just a little bit more of a safer option. So I hope you found this video helpful. We've taken the flavorizer bars and upgraded them with a flavorizer layer, right? So a lot more surface area to create smoke and create some yummy food. So I hope this serves you guys well. And I know that your grill looks different than mine, and will probably face different challenges as you put this together, but hopefully you can figure it out and this gets you started. All right, folks, I'll put product links in the description, and thanks for watching.